Shri Gurubhyo Namaha students. Welcome to one other session of Online Teaching Academy. Today we are going to continue with the third session of federalism. In the previous session we have seen the constitution has clearly laid the threefold distribution of legislative powers between the federal and state governments, between the union government and the state governments. And we have seen some examples of union list, some of the subjects that has been included in the union list and why it has been included in union list. Same way for stateless and concurrent list and residuary list also we have seen. And we have also seen the important role of judiciary in overseeing the implementation of constitutional procedures and provisions. Today we are going to see how federalism is being practiced in India. So let's get into the lesson. So how is federalism practiced in India? How linguistic states were created? What language policy we are adopting? And how the center-state relations have to be. That is what we are going to see. Constitutional provisions are necessary for the success of federalism, but these are not sufficient. If the federal experiment has succeeded in India, it's not merely because of the clearly laid out constitutional provisions. The real success of federalism in India can be attributed to the nature of democratic politics in our country. So, that ensured the spirit of federalism, respect for diversity, and desire for living together, which became a shared ideal in our country. So the following were the challenges when India was practicing federalism, when we started practicing at the initial stage. Linguistic states. Second one, language policy and the center-state relations. Let us start with linguistic relations. So you can see a map here, which talks about the year 1947, how India was. And this map it is in 2006 how India was. Today also a lot of changes. So we can see that it began its journey as a democracy in 1947, and that of 2006 we can see a lot of changes. Many old states have vanished and many new states have come. Areas, boundaries, names of the states also have been changed. We cannot see Maharashtra here, but we can see Maharashtra here. And we see a central India, but here it is Madhya Pradesh. Like that, we have lots of new names for the states. So old states of India were changed in order to create new states. This was done to ensure that people who spoke the same language lived in the same state. So when new states were created, new names have been given. And the creation of linguistic states was a tough task for the political leaders. Many leaders feared that it will still disintegrate our country, but it united. So it united our country even more stronger. So the first state, first challenge, first test was creation of linguistic states. So some states were created to recognize the differences based on culture, ethnicity, and geography. So we can see that Nagaland, Uttarakhand, and Jharkhand were based on the divided based on the culture, ethnicity, and geography. National leaders feared that it would lead to disintegration, but the experience of federalism has shown formation of linguistic states has made the country more united. So that was the best feature that we have to appreciate. So when we look at the second test before India was language policy. So the language policy adopted by our country. Our constitution did not give the status of national language to any one language. Hindi was identified as the official language. Hindi is the mother tongue of only 40% of Indians. There were many safeguards to protect other languages. So Hindi is the mother tongue of only about 40% of Indians. Therefore, obviously there had to be many safeguards to protect other regional languages. Besides Hindi, there are 21 other languages recognized as scheduled languages by the Constitution. So if a candidate in an examination conducted for the central government positions may opt to take the examination in any of these languages. State governments also have their own official languages. Much of the government work takes place in the official language of the concerned state. But you can recall in the first lesson, power sharing, where you learned about Sri Lanka. So the leaders of Sri Lanka, they have adopted Sinhala as the official language. We know what repercussions it had in Sri Lanka, how it ditched the Tamil and other language people in Sri Lanka. So, unlike Sri Lanka, the leaders of our country adopted a very cautious attitude in spreading the use of Hindi. So, the use of English for official purposes was to stop in 1965. However, many non-Hindi speaking states demanded that the use of English continue. So besides Hindi, there are 21 scheduled languages have been recognized by our constitution. So the language policy was the second challenge, second test that was before federalism. That was also taken care by the respective state governments by using their own regional language as their official language, and English continued to be the communicative language. That's how the problem was sorted. Third one, center-state relations. The relations between the central government and the state government, they have to trust each other. The mutual trust should be there. So that test, the third test, how it was faced. Restructuring the center-state relations is one more way in which federalism has been strengthened in practice. How the constitutional arrangements for sharing power work in reality depends to a large extent on how the ruling parties and leaders follow these arrangements. So we can see that for a long time, state governments did not exercise their rights as autonomous federal units. It is due to one reason: the same party, that is Congress, was ruling both at center and in most of the states. So due to this, there was the central government was misusing the constitution to dismiss the state governments that were controlled by the rival parties, particularly in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal, Bihar. In these states, it was the rival parties of Congress. So it undermined the spirit of federalism. They did not get the powers that they are ought to get. So after 1990, all these things got changed. The rise of regional political parties in many states of the country, which was the beginning of the era of coalition government at the center, that respected the autonomy of the state governments. It is because since no single party got a clear majority in the Lok Sabha, the major national political parties had to enter into an alliance with many parties, including several regional parties, to form a government at the center. So this led to a new culture of power sharing, and respect for the autonomy of state governments. Not only that, the Supreme Court gave a judgment that made it difficult for the central government to dismiss the state government in an arbitrary manner. Arbitrary manner means not based on any reason. The central government was dismissing the state governments earlier, but due to the coalition governments and the Supreme Court judgment, all these things got changed. Because of this change, the federal governments have become more effective today than it was earlier. So with this center-state relations, today, the federal governments, the regional state governments have autonomy, more autonomy than it was having in the years before 1990s. So thank you, children. We'll meet in the next session.